Hello and welcome to episode 6. Those huge Aussie skies that were highlighted in episodes 3 and 4 have seemed a long way away recently. The skies have been grey and low, bringing an immense amount of rain our way. I'm not complaining, I love the rain. I also experience a deep appreciation and reverence for all forms of water. It's a life force after all, bless it. Growing up on a barren sheep farm through years of drought certainly makes you appreciate rain too. We had to spend endless scorching summer holidays on horseback, minding the sheep as they fed on the sides of the road, since there was not a blade of grass left in our paddocks. We were also dragged off to church for special services to pray for rain. So you'll never hear me complaining about rain. But this was big rain, the sort of weather patterns that seem like it will never let up. I try to live in a state of gratitude all the time now, as best I can anyway. One of the things that I'm most grateful for every time it rains is that I have a sealed house. I know, it sounds strange, but in my earlier years, my self-worth was so low that I always ended up renting places that may have looked nice, perhaps even a little rustic, but there was always a draft or a leaking roof. I've even had leaking cars. The healing from then till now has been long and painful. I've had a lot of traumas to heal from my younger years. But it's amazing looking back and realizing that things do eventually change, and to see how far I've come in myself. Whenever we come home with bags full of fresh organic produce from the market, I am always grateful. I've been both homeless and hungry. And I don't say that in a romantic way just to tell a good story. There's nothing romantic about it. The reality of being homeless and hungry is about as empty as you could ever feel. Anyway, I was talking about rain. The first time it poured down hugely in this little house, which I bought back in 2015, I was elated to realise I didn't even need a bucket. The house was sealed, with not one leak. Every time the skies open here, even years later, that's still one of the first thoughts of gratitude that arise. Thank you for our sealed home. As a mother, too, I have much to be grateful for. I'm also a solo parent, something that wasn't planned, but it just turned out that way. I'm grateful and quite proud to provide a solid home for my daughter. Sometimes I think about all the mothers in the world who are lying in bed, praying for a solution to feed their children, or wondering how to keep their families safe. I may have my own physical challenges, and I do, but I can sleep safely in a sealed home, knowing my daughter is safe and fed. And I don't even need a bucket for leaks. Now, that is true well. As well as being grateful for a sealed house, I'm also grateful for my friend Chara and being able to catch up with her since my last vlog. It was actually supposed to be the monthly meetup as our business sisterhood with 2 others, but sometimes things change. Chara and I catch up regularly anyway, thank goodness, because I love her and our friendship. We are never lost for things to talk about. Over a few bike rides a couple of years back, we decided to form a small business mastermind. We were very specific on what qualities in others would work for us. We invited 2 beautiful beings, and so it began. Lisa, Chara, Alice and I met every month for over 2 years. Usually it was over delicious food, except for lockdowns when we met online. What started as a business support team for each other grew into such a special place of love and sisterhood. Then, one day in 2021, Alice went on a 2-week sailing trip, landed on a beach in tropical North Queensland, and never came back. She has left a massive hole for us all, but we love her and cheer her choices. Lisa also has increasing professional commitments and couldn't join us this month. I'm still so grateful for them all being in my life.
We miss you! Love you!
Love you guys, miss ya!
There's worse places we could be.
I know.
Worse things we could be doing today.
Oh my goodness, this is beautiful.
It is. It's so good to connect with you again, connect with this place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, coming off the freeway, you know, the manic sort of pace of it all, and then just to sit here and connect again with nature, it just feels like my whole nervous system.
Same. We forget that this is in us, don't we? It's so easy to forget that connection when we're, you know, living lives that are so busy, or when we're living in these sort of man-made environments and all of the rest of it. It's just, it's vital to get out and to connect with all of this and to be reminded of who we are, isn't it?
Yeah, and like you say, that it's actually in us, that we're nature. We're not just like observers of nature, we're actually in it. Well, it's actually in us, we're in it.
Yeah. And you can feel it out here too, can't you?
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. The sounds.
The breeze. The smell.
Mm-hmm.
The company.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm so grateful.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
It can take a long time to get where you want to go, but you know, when you get to this place, when you make choices to spend mornings like this or days like this, it feels like such a healthy reward. Yeah.
And it's important too, that's like, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about this idea of what feeds you.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah.
And just getting that sense, getting clear about what feeds you, and then being willing or courageous or whatever it takes to go out and find that, to get enough of it, you know?
Yeah, but how do you do that? Like, I mean, I know how it works for me, but I think that it can take a lot of courage for a lot of people to work out what feeds them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think you said it right. I think it does take courage.
And permission.
Yeah. And a willingness to just feel. You know?
That's it. Tune in.
Yeah, so that you know, because I think you always just know it by the way that it feels.
Yeah, right.
You know? And it's about developing that trust, trusting that feeling.
Yeah, but that also takes a lot of presence and mindfulness to actually check in, and you're great with that. I love that about you. You're often like, you observe yourself and actually sit back and think, how does that feel? And yeah, I feel the same. If it's, you know, often people don't know which way to go with their intuition, but I always know which way not to go.
Yeah.
And that's sort of one of the feelings that guides me, is not always what's clear on which way to go, but certainly what's clear on which way not to go.
Yeah. Is that something that's come from practice? Is that something that's come from life?
Yeah, I think it's come from not having the guts to actually resist what doesn't feel right and do what doesn't feel right, and paying the price for it too often. And
Lessons.
Yeah, lessons. And once you pay that price, it's like, oh, okay, maybe I deserve more, and I don't deserve to put myself through that again. Yeah. And you?
I think it's similar, you know? It really is. It's that, it's listening, it's paying attention, it's taking your digs every once in a while when, you're feeling hurt or you're feeling disappointed, or, and it's not letting that be lost or wasted, that experience.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's holding it close even when it's hard.
Yeah.
Because it has something to teach you.
Yeah, doesn't it? What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we do our best learning in those times, don't we? And then we get rewarded with moments like this, where it's like, okay, you can let go of that. You deserve some ease now, or you get to that point where you actually permit yourself the ease. Yeah. So much to be grateful for, isn't it?
Indeed. And it's always easier to do in the company of good friends. Thank you.
Oh, I tell you. You are my sanity sometimes. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, we can never underestimate the value of a really good mate who understands us properly. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in and for sharing this time together. I hope to see you for the next episode, and in the meantime, make happiness a priority and be gentle with yourself in the process.